Welcome, and welcome back to a new video on EdDevelop. Who has never seen the World Cup trophy? It is one of the most famous in the world, perhaps the most famous ever. What we know today, and which we will see raised at Lusail Stadium on December 18th, was born in 1974, when FIFA was forced to build a new one. In fact, Brazil had won the championship competition 4 years earlier for the third time in its history, and, as per the regulation, had earned the right to keep the cup, which was called the Remit Cup. Ah yes, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. To decide the appearance of the new trophy, FIFA held a competition in which 53 sculptors presented themselves with as many works. The winner was the Italian Silvio Gazzaniga, since then considered by all the father of the World Cup. The cup designed and created by Gazzaniga represents the athlete's joy and greatness at the moment of victory. Two stylized athletes who exultantly hold up the whole world. The cup is 36.8 centimeters high, the base is 13 centimeters, and weighs 6,175 grams. It's made of solid gold, but it's hollow inside. The trophy has two green bands in semi-precious malachite at the base, while below the base, the names of the national teams that have won the World Cup since 1974 are engraved in the language of the nation indicated. At this point, we can also guess how much the World Cup may be worth. Let's take a value of 40 euros per gram as the value of 18-karat gold. The value of the trophy is therefore more than 200,000 euros. Then it is clear that the economic value is not enough to define the value of the trophy, which is above all symbolic. The process is not mechanized but is artisanal, as is the case with sculptures. Every time the cup returns to the Milanese factory that takes care of its restoration, 7 craftsmen work on its maintenance. The technique with which it is made is that of lost wax casting. Specifically, we speak of indirect technique. That is, 2 models are used, one in plaster and one in wax, to create an empty object inside. Here's what the steps are. Wax layer. The starting point is the trophy model made from plaster or clay. This model needs to be slightly larger than the finished size of the metal product. We'll figure out why later. The first step is to coat the piece with a thin layer of wax or silicone rubber. First mold creation. The covered piece is surrounded by material to create the mold, split in half. The mold is the negative shape of the object we want to obtain and can be in plaster or other materials. Once the mold has been obtained, the model is released. Wax model creation. The wax positive is obtained from the negative of the mold, which is poured into the cavity. When the wax begins to solidify, the mold is emptied, so as to obtain only a certain thickness of the walls. The rest of the wax is evacuated. The model produced is freed and retouched. This copy is identical to the first plaster model, but is hollow and uniform in thickness. Creation of the canal system. Now we have to imagine that everything that is now in wax will later become metal. The casting channels are added to the model to direct the flow of the gold, but also the drainage channels for the circulation of the fluid metal, the ducts for the venting of the fumes, and the exit channels for the wax, which will give way to the metal. It is a very complicated process. What you get is a sculpture surrounded by a complex series of channels that will eventually be removed. In the photo, we can see the example of a structure for lost wax casting made for a bronze sculpture. In almost 50 years, the trophy has been restored several times. Most recently, under the supervision of Gazzaniga in 2005. The replacement of the external chrome plating in gold and the semi-precious malachite inlays have allowed the World Cup trophy to be brought back of football to its former glory. But since the next edition, that of 2006, the trophy has stopped spinning. Before, in fact, it was entrusted to the national team that won the tournament, which kept it on their bulletin board until the start of the next one. The success of the Azzurri, led on the bench by Marcello Lippi in Germany on the magical night in Berlin, on the other hand, did not give Captain Cannavaro and company the opportunity to embark the cup on the plane that would take them home because FIFA, to avoid its deterioration, had established that after lifting it to the sky, the captain of Italy would have to hand it back, receiving a copy in exchange. The replica, unlike the original, is in gold-plated brass. Even the Ballon d'Or is not gold. It does not have the years and the names of the national teams engraved under the base, but only the place and the year of the edition, followed by the name of the winning team. The real cup, on the other hand, is sealed and kept inside a stainless steel chest covered in eco-leather supplied by Louis Vuitton and is kept by FIFA in its historic headquarters in Zurich. Although well-designed, even the trophy made by Gazzaniga, which is not the only made in Italy used in international football, obviously has a limited surface, and the space to write the names of the winning national teams is starting to run out. According to these accounts, there is still more to add another 6. Then it will be necessary to find a solution, which could be to replace the cup with a new one that is the same or start from scratch. In 16 years, we will know how it ended. Let me know in the comments if you knew this information about the World Cup. See you in the next video.